people most terrified of Sharia law are often the same people building their own version of it. They just don't call it that. And that double standard tells you everything you need to know. For about 15 years now, Sharia has been one of the scariest words in American politics. The fear is simple. Islamic religious law was supposedly going to creep into American courts and take over, so states reacted. In 2010, Oklahoma voters passed a measure to ban Sharia outright. A federal court struck it down as unconstitutional, but the panic didn't stop there. A wave of so-called American laws for American court bills moved through state houses across the country. Here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. There was no credible evidence that American courts were about to replace the Constitution with Sharia. No takeover, no hidden legal invasion, no real threat. They passed laws against a thing that wasn't even happening. So you have to ask why. Because at the very same time that panic was spreading, another movement was organizing in plain sight. A political movement that wants religious law written into American government. And it goes by names most people have never heard. Christian Reconstructionism, Theonomy. The belief that biblical law should govern a modern state. And the broader Seven Mountains mandate, the idea that Christianity should shape government, education, media, business, and family. These aren't random online opinions. These are organized political projects with funding, candidates, institutions, and decades of influence. So let's strip away the branding and just talk about the politics. One movement was accused of wanting religious law to run the country. The other openly pushes for religious law to run the country. Different branding, same destination. One got treated like a national emergency, the other gets called value voters. And before somebody jumps in with, well, not all Christians, let me stop that there. I'm not talking about every Christian. I'm not talking about your neighbor. I'm not talking about every conservative, every churchgoer, or every person with a Bible on their shelf. I'm talking about a specific political movement and the fear it helped manufacture. Most people in the pews don't want a theocracy. That's not the point. The point is the double standard. The same coalition that spent years treating one religion's law as an invasion is often the same coalition quietly cheering on a Christian version of the same idea. And here's the tell. If this was really about keeping religious law out of government, about principle, then the rule would be consistent. But it isn't. Black Protestant churches read the same Bible as white evangelicals, and almost none of this panic and almost none of this Christian nationalist push come from them. Same book, completely different politics. That tells you this was never just about scripture. It was about scripture infused to power, identity, and race. And that's why the whole thing works. Because this is not really a theological argument. It's a tribal one. It runs on a feeling, the feeling that the country is slipping, the feeling that the culture is changing, the feeling that somebody has to take it back. A fear like that does not care about consistency. It only cares who's inside the tribe and who's outside it. Religious law sounds like tyranny when it belongs to them, and it sounds like patriotism when it belongs to us. That is the game. So here's what I'm actually saying. It's not ban both. I don't want either one running my life. I don't want Islamic law running my life. I don't want Christian law running my life. I don't want any religion used as a tool to control everybody else. What I'm saying is this. We spent years legislating against one religion's law while another movement organized out in the open and got called patriotism. That is a double standard. That is the real story. The law is sacred when it's ours and a threat when it's theirs. There's a word for fearing a group, not for what they do, but for who they are. And it isn't concern. So save this the next time somebody tells you only one religion wants to run your life. Because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it.